Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm your host, Dave the Big Salami Salwai. We've got a great show planned for you today. We're going to have special guest Justin Klein, owner of Deep Threats, on and in the hot seat. Last week, pick results, and then week 4 picks. So let's get to it. But I guess before we really get going, I want to welcome our interim host filling in for Joe. Welcome to the show, Taylor. We're glad you're here with us today.
Thank you, Salami. It's my pleasure. I've been a huge fan of this league for years, so it's kind of been on my bucket list to get a chance to be here.
Oh my God, you're beautiful. We should grab dinner sometime. I mean, you, Travis, Ivanka, and myself. That would be wonderful, don't you think?
You don't have to answer that, Tay-Tay. Donald, behave yourself. Okay, let's move on. Let's welcome our special guest and team owner, Justin Klein. Welcome. Okay, well, we'll just get to the questions. So, it looks like you had a good week in fantasy football. Is this a fluke, or should we expect this kind of output from your team moving forward?
Well, you remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. You know, these other owners, they're kind of, they'll wet their shorts after week 1, week 2. I've been here long enough, and I know that it's a marathon, not a sprint. One year I started the season and led week 1 and led every week. You know, so it happens. But, yeah, I think my team's coming around. I had to make some changes. Picked up the Vikings D, which was a huge pickup. And I think you're going to see some good things.
Going off of what you said about being in this league for all 30 years of its existence, for such a veteran team owner, you'd think you'd have more than just 2 championships to your name. What kind of excuses you have for that?
Well, there's been some really good owners in this league and good teams. They put together good teams. You go back way back when. Francis Materi was a great owner. You know, he was tough to beat. And we had a few years there where we had some internal issues where one of the guys running the show, Darren Curley, he was cheating on the side. So, you know, you can't win against cheaters. You know, and that's just how it is. And injuries play an important role in this. And sometimes, you know, you get lucky. Look at Ulmer. His team, you know, he's gotten lucky, 3, 4, 5 times. You know, his draft is crazy. He spends all his money right away. And somewhere all of a sudden down the line, he's winning the title. And we've had some really good owners make some good moves, you know, but that's Jake Hamlet's was another one, you know, Michael Vick, a great pickup and won him the league. So it's not easy. This is a tough league. 30 years of battling it out with these owners.
Okay. I do agree this is a tough league to win in, but 2 in 30 years. It's kind of sad, but I like your positive attitude, and I'm sure Lebron does too. Next question. After last week's interview with the Equalizer, he made it quite clear you're probably the owner who is singled out the most. Would you say that's due to jealousy, or do you possibly run your mouth too much?
Oh, I think some of it's jealousy. They know the potential. They know I'm always battling for a title. I probably have the most second-place finishes out of all these guys, and not as many titles as a few other ones. But, you know, I mean, deep down inside, you got Rustvold, you got Gogler, Sheldon. You know, they just want to kick me when I'm down. They want to stomp me and at the bottom, and they want to see me finish at the bottom, which is fine. You know, sometimes, you know, like they say, you can be cocky, but if you can back it up, you're not cocky.
So last week in the group chat, you were running your mouth about Warner's favorite team, the Philadelphia Eagles. You wagered a bet of $100 that the Eagles won't win 8 games this year. You still feel confident in that statement, or have you started embezzling a few dollars each week from your wife's bank account to cover that bet?
No, I think a big turning point was yesterday's game. They lucked out. The refs helped them out again a little bit, and they beat the Saints. They should have never won that game. The Saints let that slip away too. Combination of the refs. You know, in Philadelphia, any game in Philadelphia, they're going to get every call because the refs are scared of the fans. You know, you can barely walk out of there. I mean, beer bottles, they're cussing at you. They're throwing any object they can at you outside the stadium. So it's a tough place to play, but I'm still confident enough. They were running their mouths, you know, about that being the Eagles. Omer, I think, was the one running his mouth, and he wasn't even betting. He didn't put his money where his mouth was, and he was running his mouth because the Eagles pulled it off. It's still early, week 3, or they got 2 wins. I mean, they still need some more wins. They got some tough games. Commanders right now are playing really well. That was another comment that was made. Oh, they got 2 against Commanders. Well, Commanders might sweep them.
So I know there's a few voodoo dolls within the league that a few owners have had made in your likeness. Have you ever noticed any phantom pains you can't explain, or had any unexplained headaches in the days you normally set your lineup? I've seen one that was crafted by a high-ranking man-bo.
No, not really. I don't let that get to me. Maybe in the younger years I would have, but not really anymore. It is what it is. Everybody knows how well respected I am as an owner in this league, and there's guys like Doan. He don't say much, but deep down inside too, he's got hatred against me, and I'm sure he's got a vendetta or whatever. That's some of the reason why you always got to look behind your back, because you never know what's happening.
So what's your prediction on how this fantasy season ends? Are you on top, and who do you think sucks most this year and finishes last?
Oh, I definitely think I'll be in the top 3 again. I mean, my team's always usually up top there and in the top 3, and it's I think at the bottom, I think you're going to see Rustvold's team end up down at the bottom again. Gogler too, he's another owner. He's been in the league so long, but he's too scared to make trades. He's too scared to spend money. He reminds me of the Pohlads in a way. They don't want to spend any money. They just want to cash it in. If they win, they win. If they don't, they don't. So I think you're going to see Gogler and Rustvold down at the bottom. I think I'll be in the top 3 running. I think Omer's got a team that can compete, and I also think Kramer's done a nice job with his team. But there again, sometimes injuries will play an important role into that. And another one, is Bittner. Bittner, he likes to take guys that get hurt. He likes to curse them. So I think he's going to be a guy down at the bottom with Rustvold and Gogler.
Okay. Next question. Why do you think Deep Threat's fan base is predominantly female? Is it due to your Playboy past, or is it because of your feminine approach to the way you handle your team?
I just think it's 2024, and that's kind of where we're at. We're at a female generation. I mean, that's just how things are going right now. A lot of that's fake news too. I don't believe half of that. It's just kind of like the election. Half the stuff that's out there, you can't believe. You don't know if you can believe Donald. You don't know if you can believe Kamala. I mean, they're all liars. So I don't know. I don't go by that. I don't go by the fans following. You guys get caught up in that too much, but that's just something that I don't really care about.
Hi, Klein, Donald here. So my question is, since Salami left the league, you have to see you're competing against a lower level of competition. I mean, he is known as one of the greats, possibly the best. So winning the league championship almost has to feel a bit jaded, don't you think?
I would say that Salami, he was a good owner. He got a little caught up in his team a little bit too much and took those players. But, it's just like anything, Donald. Sometimes, you get caught up in things too, and you make mistakes and take the wrong guys and hire the wrong people. And that's kind of how I would take it. But, yeah, I think there was a time where he got a little scared, the Salami did, because of how well we were doing in the league, some of us. And there were some owners that got out, and I think he saw the writing on the wall, time to get out. And then economically, he just couldn't handle it. And we jumped the price, and that kind of bumped him out. And it's not like you, Donald, where you can just afford anything.
Well, that's absolutely ridiculous. Good job skating around the real question, but I'll take that as fake news. Thanks.
Hey, no worries, Donald. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, no matter how delusional it may be. Anyways, Justin, last thing. Do you have anything you'd like to say to the other league owners or your fans before we go?
Remember, it's only week 3. This is a marathon, not a sprint. The ratings and the rankings, they go out the window. It's the NFL. Anything can happen. I like to play it 1 week at a time. As long as you get into down the stretch about 2-3 weeks out, that's when it really starts. If you can you can survive the first half of the season and hang right in there, you've got a shot to win it. Again, veteran leadership in this league has been huge. There's some owners that are veterans in the league that don't know much. And you got Whitcup, he's kind of been a manager, if you want, a GM, whatever you want to call him, but he likes to run his mouth too. And half the time you don't know if he's high as a kite or if he's straight.
Hey, wait, before he goes, I want him to say the big salami was and still is better than him at fantasy football.
All right, moving on to last week's pick results. But before LeBron gives them to us, I just like to say this week we're going to dive into the Gen Z slang arsenal and say the results were cap. Go ahead, LeBron.
Thanks, Salami. As you can see, I manifested some huge wins for guys like the Trifling Bitches, Russ's Rumblers, and Deep Threats. I only have so much prodigious juice, and the Mustangs are the ones that I couldn't pull through their match. So that means Tight Fit 1 and also 23.
Well, good for you, LJ. Honestly, I feel like we've slipped through to an alternate reality because I'm 6-9 and I'm using real analytics for my picks, not crap like who's closer to Goggler or manifesting. So Donald goes to 11-4, LeBron is now 9-6, and Joe moves to 10-5. What the hell?
It's okay, Salami. Nobody doubts your fantasy prowess and intelligence. I'm sure the universe will make it right over the course of the remainder of the season.
I hope so, because this is embarrassing. Okay, let's move on to this week's picks. Our first matchup is between Mustangs and Deep Threats. Honestly, it's predicted to be so close and not sure which way this one will go, but I feel like Klein is rolling, so I'll take Deep Threats. How about you, Donald?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I don't like Klein. The way he disrespected you in his interview made me puke in my mouth. Also, I like Ulmer. He seems like good people, so I would take Mustangs for my pick this week. Klein, I hope you stub your toes. Not just one, but like 5 of them.
I guess I'm kind of in the same boat. I hold no animosity towards Klein because I'm a good person, and I believe his soul has suffered during Salami's time in the league. But I have to take Ulmer and get him a win this week because he's 0-3. So I feel I have to give my good vibes to him.
I see that Deep Threats has a Chiefs player on his team, but he's sitting him on the bench this week. Normally, that would be reason enough to take Klein's team because obviously I have to root for the Chiefs. But in this scenario, it comes down to who's a bigger Swiftie, and that is Klein.
Okay, next matchup is all Batmans versus Houday and the Blowfish. Both these clowns screwed me last week, so who's it going to be this week? I feel Warner will prevail. Melmer probably has hit the end of his luck for the season, so yeah, all Batmans for me.
Well, Salami, if we integrate the day differential of Warner's team's red zone efficiency, let's call that FX, over the range of their total yards per game, and then factor in the second derivative of their injury report, you'd see the limit of their success approaches 0 compared to my pick. This is Houday and the Blowfish. So Houday and Kickferson, as I like to call him, on the other hand, has a higher turnover differential, superior quarterback efficiency in clutch situations, and their defense's pressure rate is off the charts. So the math clearly favors them. So yeah, I pick Houday.
Wow, Donald. That was a lot of talking and funny words. I'm picking all Batmans because they are 0-3, and I can see Warner flipped on the bat signal for my help. So yes, all Batmans all day, baby.
Oh my, you guys are so good at this. I'm picking all Batmans because my boo plays for them. He's so good at it, even though it's like the hardest position to play. His job is to catch Mahomes' balls whenever they come at him. If they come fast or slow, or at his face, he's supposed to catch them.
Hey, Taylor, I can tell you're nervous, which is surprising since you preform in front of millions of people. Just relax. Donald will stay on this side of the table, I promise. That's a solid pick, by the way. Having Travis Kelce as your TE like Warner definitely helps to produce wins. Okay, moving on to the third matchup. Tight Fit versus Russ's Rumblers. Roofsvold's coming off a high after his big win last week, but he's going up against this year's league titan. I have to stay with Tight Fit here. Beast's team is just too good. How about you, Donald?
Yeah. Okay, here's the deal. Usually I just use simple algorithms and some linear equations, but Roofsvold's performance last week had me up at the chalkboard all night. I had to use a few different methods like Diophantine equations, Birch and Swinnerton Dyer conjecture. Navier-Stokes equation, which I use to calculate quarterback passing performances and kickers' field goal success rates. Hell, I even used a little of the Fibonacci sequence to predict this week's outcome between these two guys. And if Stewie can zoom in to my final calculated result, you'll see this week's W does not equal Russ's Rumblers. So I'm taking tight fit.
Per usual, math. Here's what I did to discover who would win. I went to the foothills of a secluded mountain I own. I balanced all my chakras and was able to commune with nature. I told the dragonflies they represented tight fit because he's currently the scary dragon in the league. I then told the beautiful butterflies they represented Russ's Rumblers, mainly because I'm scared of bees. And those were the only 3 insects flying amongst the flowers. I told the dragonflies and butterflies that whichever landed on my chest over my heart first would predict the winner. Well, the winner this week will be Russ's Rumblers.
Well, I'm not going to lie, but Beast's team name, Tight Fit, is a bit intimidating, but also erotic. Neither of those are the reasons I'm going with him, though. Tight Fit is just a superior team, in my opinion. I'm new to the game, but I kind of know what I'm talking about.
Nice, I'm sure you do. Now, let's move on to matchup 4. The Trifling Bitches versus 23. I made the mistake of going against Goggler last week, or the Ninja of the Night as Joe calls him. I won't be making that mistake this week. 23 wins, I believe.
Salami, I love you, but you need to take one of my classes. It's called Fantasy Algorithms That Aren't Fantasy. I'd be able to teach you the ways of the Donald, but for now, just take your money. Trifling bitches prevail mathematically this week.
I have to agree with Donald on this one. I'm sensing some good auras coming from Kramer this week, so yeah, I'll take the Trifling bitches as well.
Here's the deal. There's no way in hell Kramer beats Goggler this week. Not mathematically and not through psychogenic phenomena like auras. 23 is better, period. That's my pick, Salami.
Oh my God, Salami, she is just a little minx. I want one. Can we keep her and get rid of Joe, please?
Donald, stop. Nice pick, Taylor. Okay, last matchup. Klein's Prison Pocket versus Dark Bittner. I feel the equalizer has been neutralized, so I'm taking Dark Bittner. Come on, Bittner. Stay focused and don't chase that metaphorical squirrel buddy.
You know I'm going Dark Bittner, Salami. No math here. Bittner is good people, and the equalizer is nothing but a crook. He says he knows fantasy football, but the only thing he knows is disc golf. And we all know the type that disc golf, don't we? We're weirdos.
Well, Salami, I have meditated on this one every morning for the last week. I've opened my third eye chakra and then linked into my crown chakra to discover the answer. And what I'm seeing through my third eye is Klein's Prison Pocket prevailing victorious.
What the f***? These guys are straight Ohio. That means weird for you boomers that can't keep up with today's slang. I'm taking Dark Bittner. I know he's the underdog here statistically, but I feel that Bittner's bad beats will end this week.
Excellent. And with that, we can wrap up the show. We apologize for the lengthy episode, but now you know why most owners want to sew Klein's lips shut. He's a bullshitter to the max. As we go, we'll throw up some league stats and standings. All right, good luck this week, everyone, and let's go!